All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are going deep on SentinelOne.
Ooh, exciting.
Their Q3 FY2025 earnings report just dropped.
Yeah, just came out on December 4th.
Hot off the presses, we'll be dissecting all the numbers and seeing what they mean.
Looking for those hidden clues.
Exactly. Think of it like a Wall Street treasure hunt.
Instead of gold, we're looking for insights.
Yeah, into the future of cybersecurity.
Love it.
Now, first up on the treasure map, revenue.
Ah, the heart of it all.
SentinelOne pulled in a cool $210.6 million,
Not bad at all.
a 28% jump compared to last year.
Okay, now we're talking.
I know some of our listeners are finance whizzes.
Right.
But for those who aren't, is this the kind of growth that makes Wall Street do a double take?
Well, 28% year over year.
Yeah.
That's definitely a healthy sign, especially in the tech world.
Right.
Shows they're not just treading water, they're expanding.
I like it.
But to see if it's really exceptional, we need to look at the context.
Yeah, like how they've done in the past.
Their past performance, yeah. What are their competitors doing?
Right.
It's like a horse race. Are they gaining ground?
Or is everyone neck and neck?
Exactly.
Now, speaking of pulling ahead,
Yeah.
SentinelOne's been making a lot of noise about their Singularity Platform.
Right, the AI-powered system.
Their CEO even said, enterprises are increasingly selecting Singularity Platform for real-time autonomous security.
Catchy quote.
Sounds pretty impressive, but could you break it down for us?
Sure.
What exactly is this Singularity Platform?
Basically, it's their secret weapon, an AI-powered system. Acts like a 247 bodyguard for a company's digital assets.
A digital bodyguard. I like that.
It not only detects threats, but it neutralizes them before they can even cause damage.
Wow.
That's the promise of autonomous security.
So it's like predicting and preventing attacks before they happen.
Exactly.
Sounds pretty futuristic.
It is, and it seems to be resonating with businesses.
Especially those facing increasingly sophisticated cyber attacks. Okay, so they've got the revenue growth, a potentially game-changing platform. But let's talk about the nitty-gritty, the financials.
Right.
They mentioned achieving positive free cash flow
Yeah, for the first time.
on a trailing 12-month basis.
Big milestone.
Now, I know this is a big deal, but free cash flow,
It's one of those terms.
yeah, can sound a little technical.
For sure.
Could you break it down for the average person?
Absolutely. So free cash flow.
Yeah.
It's the cash a company has left over after paying for its operations and investments.
Okay.
It's a really crucial indicator of financial health.
I see.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
It's the money they have to reinvest in growth, acquire other companies, or even reward shareholders with dividends.
Right.
So hitting positive free cash flow, that's a big deal.
Especially for a company like SentinelOne that's still growing so rapidly.
Exactly. It shows they're not just burning through cash. They're
Right.
actually generating it from their business.
So it's like they've gone from spending their allowance to earning a paycheck.
Perfect analogy.
And that financial stability gives them a lot more options, right?
Absolutely. More flexibility. They can make bold moves.
Maybe even pull ahead of the competition.
Potentially.
Now, let's dig a little deeper.
Okay.
They also mentioned annual recurring revenue, or ARR, up 29%.
Almost $860 million.
Wow.
Customer growth in their high spending segment, up 24%.
Impressive.
And they've got a cool $1.1 billion in cash on hand.
As of October 31st,
Right.
what kind of story do these numbers tell us?
Well, that jump in ARR,
Uh-huh.
it shows they're building a solid base of recurring income.
Right.
Customers are signing up for those ongoing subscriptions.
That's music to any company's ears.
Absolutely. And the growth in that big-ticket customer segment
Yeah.
shows they're attracting those larger enterprises.
The ones with deep pockets.
Exactly. The ones that can really fuel growth.
Right. So not only are they growing, they're attracting the kind of customers that can sustain that growth. What about that big pile of cash?
That $1.1 billion.
Yeah. What does that allow them to do?
Well, it gives them a ton of strategic flexibility.
Okay.
They could go on an acquisition spree.
Buy up some smaller companies.
Right. Ones with complementary technologies.
Uh-huh.
They could pour more money into R&D.
Push the boundaries of AI security.
Exactly.
Or even just weather any economic storms that might come their way.
It's a good safety net.
It's like they've got a safety net and a springboard all in one.
Exactly. That cash position is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so they're raking in the cash, attracting big clients, and sitting on a mountain of money.
Things are looking good.
But what about the future?
Ah, yes. The crystal ball.
They did give us some revenue guidance for Q4 and the full fiscal year.
Let's see what they're predicting.
They're projecting $222 million for Q4 and a whopping $818 million for the full fiscal year.
Wow.
That would mean a 32% growth rate year over year.
Big numbers.
Are these numbers realistic?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Or in this case, the $818 million question.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, to see if they're on target, we need to put on our detective hats.
I love playing detective.
First, we got to look at their track record.
Yeah. Have they actually hit these kinds of numbers before?
Right. Have they consistently met or even exceeded their projections?
Because if they have, it makes these new numbers more believable.
Exactly. We can't just take their word for it.
Got to see the receipts.
And then, of course, we have to consider the bigger picture.
Like what?
What's going on in the economy?
Right. Are things looking good or bad?
And any industry trends that could impact those projections?
So many factors at play.
For example, let's say there's a sudden increase in cyber attacks.
Oh, that would be bad.
Demand for SentinelOne's products could go through the roof.
And the revenue would soar.
Exact.
It's like trying to predict the weather. So many variables.
It is, and speaking of potential storms, every earnings report comes with those risk factors.
Shut up the fine print.
SentinelOne lists the usual suspects.
Like what?
Intense competition, global economic headwinds, rapid technological changes.
It always feels like they're trying to cover all their bases.
Well, they have to.
Right. But things can change so fast in the tech world.
They really can, and in SentinelOne's case, those risks are very real.
How so?
Well, the cybersecurity market, it's incredibly competitive.
I can imagine.
You've got those established giants, and then you've got those hungry startups.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Exactly. So if SentinelOne doesn't stay ahead of the curve,
They could fall behind.
they could, especially if their rivals have deeper pockets.
Or come up with even better solutions.
It's a constant race to innovate.
And then there's the whole global economic situation.
Always a wild card.
Yeah. What if things take a downturn?
If businesses start cutting back, cybersecurity spending could be one of the first things to go.
Ouch.
And that could really hurt SentinelOne's growth, no matter how good their technology is.
So even with a great track record and a cutting-edge platform,
There are no guarantees.
the future is uncertain.
That's the reality of business, especially in a field like cybersecurity.
Okay, so before we get too bogged down in the what-ifs,
Right.
let's focus on what we do know.
Okay.
What were some of the key takeaways from this report that stood out to you?
Well, for me, it was their transition to positive free cash flow.
Yeah, that was impressive.
It's a major achievement for a company at their stage of growth.
Shows they've got a solid business model.
Exactly, not just burning through cash.
What else caught your eye?
Well, their confidence in the Singularity Platform.
They're really betting big on AI,
They are. It seems to be paying off.
attracting those big enterprise clients.
Exactly. Suggests the platform is delivering what it promises.
Real-time, autonomous security,
It's like they're ushering in a new era of cybersecurity.
with AI leading the charge.
And that makes you wonder, how will this impact the average person?
Yeah, could we see a future where our devices are protected by AI guardians
Constantly learning, adapting, keeping us safe.
without us even having to lift a finger?
It's a fascinating thought, and one that SentinelOne seems to be driving towards.
Okay, let's bring this deep dive back down to earth for a minute.
Sure.
We've seen that SentinelOne is doing well, strong revenue growth, an innovative platform, and a solid financial foundation.
Right.
But they do face challenges: competition, economic uncertainties, the rapid pace of technological change.
A balanced perspective.
So, taking all of this into account, what's your overall take on SentinelOne?
Are you bullish or bearish on their future?
That's a tough one. They've got a lot going for them.
They do.
Strong performance, great technology, solid financials. But the cybersecurity landscape is always shifting.
Never a dull moment.
And there are always those external factors that could throw a wrench in the works.
True.
It's a classic case of high risk, high reward.
And that brings us to a final question for our listeners to ponder.
So as AI gets more and more powerful, are there any downsides we need to be thinking about?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really important question.
Like what could go wrong?
Well, the benefits of AI-powered security are huge, but we have to be cautious.
Right.
With any powerful tool, there's always the risk of misuse,
Yeah, that makes sense.
or even just unintended consequences.
Like what?
Well, let's say AI systems are trained on data that's biased.
I see where you're going with this.
They could end up making biased decisions.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, it could lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
It's like we're handing the keys to our digital kingdom over to AI.
Right.
but we need to make sure it's a good ruler.
Exactly. We have to be really careful about how we design and develop these AI systems.
Make sure they align with our values.
Right, and we need to have open and honest conversations about the risks,
As well as the benefits.
so we can navigate this new technology responsibly.
Well said. It seems like every exciting advancement comes with its own set of challenges.
It's true. It's part of what makes it also interesting.
Makes things exciting.
It does, and it highlights how important it is to stay informed.
Ask those tough questions.
Engage in those discussions.
About the impact of technology on our lives.
Exactly.
Well, it looks like we've reached the end of this financial rabbit hole.
We made it.
Hopefully everyone listening has come away with some new insights.
Some new knowledge
Maybe even a few pearls of wisdom.
to help navigate the digital world.
And on that note, we'll say goodbye for now.
Until next time.
But don't worry, we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating new topic.
Always something interesting to explore.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.
In that ever-expanding digital universe.
See everyone!